Love at 60 is completely different from love at 25. When you were 25, you used your eyes, a beautiful dress, and a bit of mysterious silence to make him think about you constantly. But after 60, everything has changed. You no longer play games, you touch his mind instead. You don't need to do much, just say these 5 words, and it's enough for him to carry you in his thoughts every single day. You want to know what those 5 words are, don't you? Hi, it's Vernon again. Today I'll share 5 magic key words you can say while dating after 60. Words that instantly make a man feel seen, valued, and captivated. They're the language of emotional connection that speaks directly to a mature man's deepest needs. Most women think that after 60, attraction is about looking younger or trying harder. But that's the biggest myth of mature dating. Before we dive in, hit that like button and subscribe to this channel for more advice, insights, and wisdom about love, dating, and marriage after 60. Your support helps me continue sharing these valuable perspectives with our community. You might think the first word should be something romantic or dramatic, but no, it's much simpler and far more effective.
Notice. As Oprah Winfrey once said, "I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." And nothing makes a man feel more valued than knowing someone truly notices him. The first magic word isn't just notice, it's the entire phrase, "I noticed," followed by something specific about him, his efforts, or his character. This simple statement carries enormous psychological weight because it addresses one of men's deepest emotional needs, the need to feel seen and appreciated for who they are, not just what they provide. Here's what happens in a man's mind when you say, "I noticed." Suddenly, he realizes that you're not just passively present in his life, you're actively paying attention. You're seeing the details that others miss, the efforts he makes that often go unrecognized, the subtle ways he tries to show care or consideration. Most people, especially as we age, begin to feel invisible in small ways. The world becomes focused on younger faces, faster minds, newer energy. But when a woman says, "I noticed how patient you were with that difficult waiter," or "I noticed how you always hold doors open, not just for me, but for everyone," something profound happens in his psyche. You're telling him that his actions matter, that his character is visible, that someone is witnessing the man he's chosen to be. This isn't flattery, it's recognition. And recognition is one of the most addictive feelings humans can experience. The psychology behind this is rooted in what psychologists call positive regard. When we feel genuinely seen and appreciated, our brains release dopamine and oxytocin, the chemicals associated with pleasure and bonding. You're literally creating a chemical response that makes him associate you with feeling good about himself. Your noticing must be authentic. Men at this age have developed strong radar for insincerity. When you say, "I noticed," it should be because you genuinely did notice something worth mentioning. It might be how he listens without interrupting, how he remembers details from previous conversations, or how he treats service workers with respect. The power of "I noticed" extends beyond just making him feel good. It also demonstrates your own emotional intelligence and depth. You're showing him that you're the kind of woman who sees beyond the surface, who appreciates substance over flash, who values character over performance. Share this video with friends and groups of people seeking love after 60 because everyone deserves to know how powerful genuine recognition can be. But noticing him is only the beginning. The next word makes him feel safe to be himself.
Word 2, safe. The second magic word revolves around the concept of safety. I feel safe with you. After 60, men have been through enough relationships, enough disappointments, enough emotional battles to know that true attraction isn't about excitement or drama. It's about finding someone with whom they can finally let down their guard. When you tell a man that he makes you feel safe, you're addressing his deepest masculine instinct, the desire to be a protector and provider of security. But you're also telling him something even more powerful, that his presence creates a sanctuary where authenticity can flourish. Safety in mature relationships isn't about physical protection, though that matters too. It's about emotional safety. The knowledge that you won't judge his vulnerabilities, attack his insecurities, or use his openness against him in future arguments. It's about creating a space where he can share his fears about aging, his concerns about the future, his memories of past losses, without worrying that you'll see him as weak. The woman who makes a man feel like a safe harbor becomes irresistible not because of games or mystery, but because she offers something increasingly rare: genuine peace. In a world full of judgment, competition, and performance pressure, she becomes the place where he can simply be himself. Anne is a woman that I know from my book club. At 63, Anne had been dating Robert for several months when she looked at him one evening and said simply, "I feel safe when I'm with you, safe to be myself, safe to be vulnerable, safe to just breathe." Robert later told me, "That's when I knew she was special. I'd been with women who made me feel desired, admired, even needed, but Anne made me feel like home." The psychology of safety creates what relationship experts call secure attachment. When a man feels safe with you, his nervous system actually relaxes. The constant low-level stress that many people carry, especially those who've been hurt before, begins to dissolve in your presence. This physiological response is deeply addictive in the healthiest way possible. But creating safety isn't just about what you say, it's about how you respond to his imperfections, his bad days, his moments of struggle. It's about being the woman who doesn't punish him for having human emotions, who doesn't withdraw love when he's not at his best, who sees his flaws and chooses to stay anyway. When you embody safety, you become associated with peace, comfort, and acceptance. These aren't exciting emotions in the traditional sense, but they're the emotions that create lasting bonds. They're what make a man wake up thinking about you, go to bed grateful for you, and carry the feeling of you with him throughout his day. Maya Angelou wisely observed, "Perhaps travel cannot prevent bigotry, but by demonstrating that all peoples cry, laugh, eat, worry, and die, it can introduce the idea that if we try and understand each other, we may even become friends." The same is true in relationships. When we create safety for someone to show us their full humanity, we create the foundation for something beautiful. Once he feels safe, the next word touches his sense of identity. Word 3,
proud. The third magic word centers around pride. I'm proud of you. These 4 simple words tap into one of the most fundamental human needs, the need to feel respected and admired, not for what we own or how we look, but for who we are and what we've accomplished. After 60, a man has lived through decades of challenges, made countless decisions, weathered numerous storms. He's built careers, raised children, faced losses, overcome obstacles. Yet how often does someone acknowledge the strength it took, the character it required, the wisdom he's gained along the way? When you tell a man, "I'm proud of you," you're recognizing not just a single achievement, but the journey that brought him to this moment. You're seeing the resilience, the growth, the choices that shaped him into the person sitting before you. This kind of recognition touches something profound in the masculine psyche. The psychology behind pride is deeply connected to self-worth. When someone we respect expresses pride in us, it validates our choices, our efforts, our character. It tells us that our struggles weren't in vain, that our growth is visible, that our journey matters to someone else. But here's what makes this word magical. It's not about praising him for things he did for you. It's about recognizing who he is independent of your relationship. It might be pride in how he handled a difficult situation at work, how he maintained his integrity during a challenging time, how he's learned to embrace vulnerability, or how he's grown from past mistakes. Winston Churchill once said, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." When you express pride in a man's courage to continue, to keep growing, to keep trying despite setbacks, you're acknowledging the very essence of what makes him admirable. This kind of recognition creates what psychologists call reflected pride. When we see ourselves positively through someone else's eyes, it enhances our own self-perception. A man who feels genuinely proud of himself because of how you see him becomes magnetically drawn to the person who helped him feel that way. The power of "I'm proud of you" extends beyond momentary good feelings. It becomes part of how he thinks about himself when he's alone, part of the internal voice that encourages him during tough times, part of the confidence that carries him forward. You become woven into his sense of self-worth in the most beautiful way. When was the last time someone told you they were proud of you? How did it feel? Share in the comments below, because understanding the power of these words in your own life helps you appreciate their impact on others. But admiration alone isn't enough. The next word awakens his passion.
Word 4 is want, but not in the way you might think. This isn't about material desires or physical needs. It's about expressing emotional and relational wants in a way that makes a man feel chosen, desired, and essential to your happiness. When you say, "I want to hear about your day," or "I want to understand what you're going through," or "I want to spend more time with you," you're doing something revolutionary in the world of mature dating. You're being direct about your emotional desires without being demanding or needy. Many women, especially after 60, have been taught to minimize their wants, to be accommodating, to avoid seeming too eager or interested. But here's what they don't realize. A confident expression of want is incredibly attractive to a mature man. It tells him that you know your own mind, that you're not playing games, and that you've chosen him specifically. Want implies choice. It suggests that among all the options available to you, you're choosing him. For a man who may be feeling invisible or overlooked in other areas of life, this selective desire is intoxicating. I'll share the story of Evelyn, my neighbor in the building where I live. At 66, Evelyn had been cautiously dating James for a few weeks when she decided to be more direct about her interests. Instead of waiting for him to suggest plans, she called him one Thursday and said, "James, I want to see you this weekend. Would Saturday work for you?" James later told her that he couldn't stop replaying the confidence in her voice, the certainty with which she'd expressed her desire. Most women my age seem afraid to want anything, but Evelyn knew what she wanted and wasn't afraid to say it. That's when I knew she was different. The key to using want effectively is in the delivery. It should come from a place of abundance, not desperation. It should feel like an invitation, not a demand. It should communicate choice, not neediness. When you say, "I want," you're speaking from your feminine power, the ability to know your desires and express them with grace. This word also works because it invites reciprocity. When you're clear about what you want, it gives him permission to be equally clear about his wants. It creates a dynamic of mutual desire rather than guessing games and subtle hints. The magic happens when your expression of want is specific and genuine. Instead of vague statements like, "I want to see you more," try, "I want to cook dinner with you this Sunday. I love how we talk when we're creating something together." The specificity shows that your want is thoughtful, not impulsive. Ralph Waldo Emerson once wrote, "The only way to have a friend is to be one." The same principle applies to desire. The only way to be wanted is to express want. When you show a man that you have desires, preferences, and specific interests in him, you invite him to match that energy with his own wants and desires. And finally, the most irresistible word of all.
Word 5. More. This word is specifically in phrases like, "Tell me more about that," or "I'd love to hear more," or "I want to understand more about how you see this." This simple word creates an irresistible psychological pull because it communicates something every human craves: genuine curiosity about who they are. Most conversations, especially in dating, stay frustratingly surface level. People exchange facts, opinions, and stories, but rarely dive deep into the thoughts, feelings, and perspectives that make someone truly interesting. When you ask for more, you're signaling that you find him genuinely fascinating, that his thoughts and experiences matter to you beyond small talk. In our distracted world, genuine attention has become the most valuable currency we can offer someone. When you ask for more details, more thoughts, more of his perspective, you're giving him the gift of your focused interest. The magic happens in the follow-up. It's not enough to just say, "Tell me more." You need to actually listen to the more he gives you. You need to ask follow-up questions, make connections to things he shared before, show that you're building a mental library of who he is. This creates what researchers call felt understanding, the profound experience of being truly seen and comprehended by another person. When you consistently ask for more, you become associated with intellectual and emotional stimulation. You become the person with whom he can explore ideas, share experiences, and dive deep into topics that matter to him. This creates a unique form of intimacy that transcends physical attraction, though it often enhances it significantly. The beauty of more is that it works in any context. You can ask for more about his childhood memories, his thoughts on current events, his experiences in his career, his philosophy on life, his dreams for the future. Each time you do, you're telling him that his inner world is valuable real estate worth exploring. In the words of Albert Einstein, "I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious. Curiosity is one of the most attractive qualities a person can possess, especially as we age. It signals that you're still growing, still learning, still interested in expanding your understanding of the world and the people in it. The cumulative effect of these 5 magic words, notice, safe, proud, want, and more, is that you become unforgettable. You become the woman who sees him clearly, accepts him fully, appreciates him genuinely, desires him specifically, and finds him endlessly interesting. This combination is absolutely irresistible to a mature man who has spent too many years feeling overlooked, undervalued, or misunderstood. Save this video so you can reference these 5 powerful words whenever you need to deepen a connection or create lasting impact in your relationships.
As we reach the end of our time together today, you now understand the 5 magic words that can transform how men think about you. Notice, safe, proud, want, and more. Each of these words addresses a fundamental human need, the need to be seen, accepted, respected, desired, and understood. Love after 60 isn't about playing games. It's about using words that carry weight, words that remind a man he's seen, safe, admired, wanted, and invited to share more of himself. These aren't manipulation tactics. They're the language of genuine connection that speaks to the deepest parts of the human heart. True connection happens when 2 people see each other clearly and choose each other anyway. These 5 words help facilitate that kind of seeing, that kind of choosing, that kind of deep recognition that transforms casual dating into lasting love. Words have power. They can heal or hurt, connect or divide, inspire or deflate. At this stage of life, you have the wisdom to choose your words carefully, to speak with intention, to use language as a bridge rather than a wall. These 5 magic words are your invitation to step into that power. Have you experienced the power of these words in your own relationships? Are you ready to start using them more intentionally in your dating life? Maybe you're just beginning to understand how much your words matter in creating the connections you desire. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your insight might be exactly what another person needs to transform their approach to love after 60. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more wisdom on embracing the most authentic and fulfilling stage of relationships after 60. Check the description for additional resources that will support your journey toward becoming the confident, emotionally intelligent woman you were always meant to be. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.